Welcome to FuzzyTek, the show where I talk about technical, geeky, nerdy stuff. I'm Fuzzy, and I'm here to tell you that this channel has reached 100 subscribers. It may not be many in comparison to other channels, and not all of my subscribers watch all of my videos, but I wanted to maintain a human connection. So I want to say I'm grateful for every subscriber being there and letting me know that I'm doing something right, and you enjoy my work, and I'll continue. If that includes you, then I'm about to thank you personally in this video. As a side note, I can only mention those who have their subscription set to public, so this isn't a list of 100 names, but it is a list of everybody who has a public subscription that's subscribed. Anyway, I'll do this again at 200 perhaps, and if there's anybody who you feel like would benefit from the videos, who likes technical, geeky, nerdy stuff, Arduinos, Raspberry Pis, etc., then send them a video of mine that they might like. It really does mean a lot. So let's get started. It took me a while to figure a way of doing this video, but I thought I would program my Arduino Uno to return me a list of subscriber names as well as a fact. So I'll read the name and the fact in the form of an old Nokia text message, because I had one of these screens lying around and I thought, well, I can use it for this. If you want to know how I made this, I can talk you through the code later in the video. What facts did I pick? Well, they're either about the number 100, or they're a technical, geeky, nerdy fact. Or just really random. It's really hard to find a load of facts about the number 100. I don't know how true any of them are either, but here we go. I'd like to apologise in advance if I pronounce anybody's name incorrectly. So the first one, J Straw. The fact is 100 in binary is 1100100, but binary 100 is 4. Andy Wardley. Googol is the number 1 followed by 100 zeros. In fact, Look Mum No Computer is creating a Googol counter that he plans to keep going forever. So go check that out. I'll link it in the description. Ethan Lucky, there are 100 sweat glands in 1 square inch of skin. Ew. Full Motion Gaming. In Old Norse, the word 100 originally meant 120. Minimoo, the 100 Years' War lasted for 116 years and started in 1337. Good year. Tanner Anderson, the Roman numeral for 100 is C. Chemical Ollie, 100 is the atomic number of fermium. Bethlyn K. 100 is a HTTP status code meaning continue with the request. Ricardo Falcao. Again, sorry if I'm pronouncing these incorrectly. There is a 100-kilometer walking race event. That is not something I would like to do. Namza Diaz, 100 kilometers is 62.14 miles. Andrew Parkinson, 100 miles is 161 kilometers. Tooch Joy, 100 degrees Celsius is the boiling point of water. Robert Starling, there are 100 letter tiles in Scrabble. George Sylvia, the sum of the first 9 prime numbers is 100. Ryan Smith, a person who lives to 100 is called a centenarian. Jim Cousins, there are 100 years in a century. Ang Ko Hong, per cent means per 100 in Latin. Mensch von Stahlen, lightning is about 100 million volts. Ellie Burrow, electric eels can shock over 500 volts. Matthias Arvidsson, debugging or bug comes from a bug found in 1947, the first one. It was a moth actually, I think. 14K, a jiffy is 1/100th of a second. Vin Blow, or BLO. Competitive art used to be in the Olympics. Gabe Y. OMG was first used in 1917. OMG. Savas, I'm not going to do you a dishonesty by trying to pronounce your surname and getting it horrifically wrong. I'll just say a fact. 60% of the brain is fat. Saxophone, funny 3-face. You can be allergic to moon dust. An astronaut discovered this, as he was allergic to moon dust. Daniel Lloyd. Hot water freezes faster than cold. Malone Williams. Footprints on the moon will last 100 million years. Matt Jensen. The first computer mouse was wooden. Matthew Lord. The first 1 GB drive cost $40,000 in 1980. Chris Swift. People blink less when using computers. Isaac DJ Production Coma Record. MIT has computers that detect fake smiles. Monkey Dust 1. Typewriter is the longest one-row word you can type on a keyboard. Josh Harris. Windows was called Interface Manager originally. Dal Matthews. Domain names used to be free until 1995. Tyler F. More than 5,000 new viruses are made each month. Urban Addiction. The first hard disk in 1979 was 5 megabytes. John Dittmar. The first ever domain was symbolics.com. ATDT Life. Russia made a water-powered computer in 1936. Adnan Zas. CON, PRN, AUX, and NUL cannot be Windows folders names. R3 Ryan. Google rents goats to mow their grass. Ryan Underwood. PS1 had scratch and sniff discs. FIFA and Gran Turismo 2. FIFA smelled like grass and Gran Turismo 2 smelled like rubber and fuel. Axel Ramos Castellanos. The first SMS was sent in 1992. Not Meaver. The biggest drive currently available is a 60 terabyte SSD. William Hyde. Email is older than the World Wide Web. Michael Melia. The country that uses the most electric is China. And last but not least, you got in there just in time before I filmed this, one dread. Wi-Fi doesn't stand for anything. A lot of people think it stands for wireless fidelity, but that was an advertising campaign they had one time. But it doesn't actually stand for anything. It's just Wi-Fi. Like hi-fi. Sounds cool. Wi-Fi. Why Wi-Fi? Because Wi-Fi. That's why. Wi-Fi. So now that's done, I'm going to walk you through the code and show you exactly how this little screen works and how I programmed it. Okay, so here in the Arduino IDE, this is the code that I wrote for the Nokia screen. So first of all, I used the libraries that require the screen to work. These are from Adafruit. And then I set up the pins. I have a flag here whether to load the next screen or not. And then we start at 0, we end at the size of the array, which is 45. And here is the array of subscribers. So it goes from 1 to 46. This says 45 because it starts at 0. So I've put all the names in here. And the reason it says progmem is because if I didn't put it in the program memory, it would run out of space very quickly. The same with the list of facts. I just got some random facts online. It took me ages, but I found some, and I've put line breaks in so that they fit on the screen somewhat better and don't cut off. Sometimes they cut off, as you would have noticed, but it doesn't really matter. So we've got the subscribers, we've got the facts, we've got an array of those, and then we begin. So serial begin, it runs in the serial monitor. Oh, it's not plugged in, but it runs in the serial monitor, and I read it from there rather than trying to read it from the screen. And when I press enter, it loads the next message, or the next from the array. So it starts with setting up the serial, then a display, sets the contrast of the display, clears the display. It sets rotation to 2, which is 180 degrees. The reason it does this is because the way I wired the display, if you could see the wires come out from the top. So I flipped it round, and it's much easier for me to film it that way. Sets the size of the text to 1, and then runs this start message routine function, which runs show message received screen, which is this one here. This is a bitmap image, which is converted here into all these hex information, which is also stored in progmem. This image is the one you see that says 100 messages received. I just found an example of an old Nokia text message received screen online and then edited it and converted it to this. There's a link in the description if you're into putting bitmaps on LCDs. There's a link that will convert a bitmap into this so you can use it in your projects. So that displays that bitmap and then prints this in the serial. Press enter to get the first message. So I press enter and that screen will disappear, which will display the message. It will wait until you press enter and then set load next to true. In which case, if it's true, which it now is, it will run this. It will run generate message, set it to false, and then wait 50 milliseconds just so it doesn't blip out. Sometimes it doesn't receive all the information quick enough. So put a little delay in there and it runs much smoother. So generate message up here, which we see just now, clears the display, sets the subscriber name to the result of get a subscriber, which is here. This copies the string of subscriber at the subscriber index into subscriber buffer and then returns it. So basically this, in short, this just gets the subscriber name at that index, which the first one will be 0, so it will get subscriber number 1 from the array and return it, and that gets set here. This then does the same thing but for the fact at the same subscriber index, so there will always be a fact for a subscriber as long as there's the same amount of each, which there is. It then increments the subscriber index by 1, so we've started at 0, which is subscriber 1, now we're on 1, which is subscriber 2, sets the cursor in the display to the very start, and then turns the subscriber name into a string so that I can check easily if it's too long and if it won't fit on the top line. So if it's longer than 14, at character 11 to the very end of the string, it will remove and replace it with 3 dots. Then it prints the name, then it prints out a black line, sets the cursor a little bit lower, prints the fact, and then basically turns on the screen. So takes all this stuff and puts it onto the screen, and then it prints it in the serial monitor so I can see it and read it out. And that is basically it. I'll leave a link to the code if you want to mess around with it or just have a little look at it in the description, and you can take it and do what you like with it, including the message received bitmap information. If you liked this video, give it a like. If you didn't, please tell me why. I know it's not like the other ones, but this is a special one. More content coming soon. And don't forget, if you like what you see, you can check out all other things FuzzyTek on Instagram at FuzzyTek Show. And thank you very much for the subscribers. I may do this again at 200 and so on if it gets that much. But it really helps a lot. If you're watching this and you're not subscribed, please consider it, because it does help me, motivates me to keep going and keep making interesting, well, hopefully interesting, entertaining and educating tech videos. Sorry about the cat. Many thanks for watching. Until next time, bye bye. Yeah, that'll do.